Afternoon. Today I have the lovely, is it Debbie with me? Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. It's actually Casey Poitras, and I'm a writer, author. I have 2 published books and 2 that will be published by November of this year. And I'm a mom and a grandmother. I live in Florida, sunny Florida with lots of rude people. I just got into writing this year, past April. So.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a writer?
I did. I actually wanted to tell my story. That didn't happen yet. Too close to home, but I started writing and I loved it and getting better with every book. The author community is just fabulous support for the way around. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
And what made you finally take that plunge and actually start writing?
My better half, basically. During COVID and lockdown, and I was working from home, and they wanted to go back into the office, and I was like, you know what? I've been in the service industry as a dispatcher or an admin for 30 years, and I was like, I've had enough. And so he was like, why don't you just stay home and write? Because he knew I wanted to do that. And about 3, I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And about 3 weeks in, he was like, I don't think she's going to write. Once I sat down and wrote that first chapter, it was just, I was just on fire, just flowed out of me, you know. So.
And what made you choose to write in the genre that you've written in?
Well, the 2 I have published, one's romance, and the other one is actually about a little boy from New Zealand, or he's originally from the States, but his dad took him at 2 to New Zealand, and he flies him back home at 4 alone and to an abusive family. So it told his, how he grew up and coped and decided to take the right path instead of the wrong path. So that one's was a little unique, but mostly it's romance, and probably, I guess, my biggest inspirers would be like Ellen Hildebrandt, Tanana, the beach reads, just fun and light, and a lot of it's life experiences that actually happened to me. So a little bit in there, and our friends, just it's just fun and easy, and it's not easy by any means. I take that back. It can be very hard, but I find I just process it all the time in my mind. If I get black, I'll just get up and walk near my pool or something, and it'll start just turning and in my head, and I can go back and finish writing. So.
Since you began writing, have you found it harder than you thought it was going to be?
The very first book was very hard. I knew nothing, zero, and actually thousands later, and still no product because of just not picking the right people to help out, editors, everything. And I learned a lot, and my second book was easier, and my third book was, a lot easier. My fourth book is like, I think I wrote it in 8 to 10 days, and know exactly who to go to get the, the developmental editing, all the, the proofreading and publishing and covers. And so, yeah, it took a while. It was hard at first, very hard.
How did you choose character names for your books?
As I started writing them, I just a name would pop into my head, or sometimes I would bounce it off, names off of Eric, and he'd help me come up with some. Some I just Googled different names, but most of them is just names that I like that are out there,
Have any of your friends or family asked to be characters in your books yet?
Nobody.
Nobody. Wow.
nobody. Now, a few of my close friends are in the upcoming book. And my best friend is definitely in it. She's been a huge support. So she's a very supporting role, character in the book. So no, and actually I did a takeover where the book that's coming out is also includes recipes in the back of it, because cooking is such a huge part of our life. And I picked two other authors to spotlight and come in as a pop-in character in the book and bring a recipe. So that was a lot of fun to spotlight two other authors, indie authors, and they brought their recipe in. And
yeah, that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
And do you hide any other sort of secret jokes or messages in your books?
I think you taught me what it feels like to fall in love, and The Only Man's coming out October 24th, I believe it is, which is a sequel, but it's a standalone as well. That series is more about no matter how old you are, when life you find yourself in a position that you've never known before, or if you go through a 20-year relationship and everything's lost, that you can life will go on. You will, I try to give them hope, because that happened to me, 20 years later, and it's like, I find myself without a husband after 20 years with broke and 14-year-old, well, they were about 8 back then. So it was like away from my family, and I was like, I can do this. And then I met Eric, and I thought I'd been treated okay before, and I definitely know I was not treated okay before now, because he, true gentleman. So.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. So that's kind of what that's about. It's just giving the older generation a little bit of hope,
Yeah.
And even in Unseen, it's like kids at 12, 13, 14, and they have, no matter what most of they're going through, they can have the ability to choose the path. They can go down the wrong path, and that's what Unseen's about. It's like, this child was flown to another, country, and then flown back by himself at 4 years old to strangers. And it was actually his mom that he was flying back to, but he didn't know her at that point. And, then he was abused until one day he stood up for himself, and thank God he had a great group of friends, because he mirrored their families, kind of showed him what he wanted to be, as opposed to just always angry, and he just chose to be happy. And so.
Out of the books that you've written so far, do you have a favorite character?
Parker, I think, in Skin Deep, which is coming out in November, Black Friday. So that one I think is really, really cool. I like him. And Stacy, I like him as well. And it's the Year by Day One series. So.
And out of all the books you've written, what's been the most fun scene or chapter that you've written, and what's been the most difficult?
The difficult one was pretty much all of Unseen, because it's uncomfortable content, showing the abuse, and talking about it. That was definitely the most difficult. Most fun, if I told you, it would give away the whole thing on Skin Deep. So it is, and it was the tragic part of the story. That was actually the most fun to write.
Yeah, that's the trouble with that question, is spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were to be transported as a character into any of your books, which book would you choose?
Oh, Skin Deep, definitely. Yep, I would be that character. She's a model, you know, a top fashion model, and he's a pro golfer, and they got money. It's all, you know, it's all good. It's great life.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would pick Olivia.
Yeah, I would too, actually, just based on that.
Yeah. Yep. I like to write. You can just live vicariously through them, right? You know?
That's why people write, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Either that or to kill people that they've, you know,
Yes, this is true.
One or the other.
Yep.
You said you've had a lot of support from the author community. So have you made lots of author friends?
I'm sorry, have I what?
Made lots of author friends.
I have amazing author friends. I support them. They support me. Several PAs and that I love. And yeah.
And have you had a lot of feedback from your readers?
I have. Mm-hmm. Some good, some bad. I mean, all over the place, but it's all good feedback. I welcome constructive criticism. You know, it just makes me a stronger writer. Yeah.
Have you had any strange or unusual feedback or unusual requests?
No, I don't think so. No.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Yeah, I'm still definitely a baby author here.
Are you planning on doing any literary events?
I hope to. There's and actually I'm going to the Tampa Regional Book Signing Conference in June of 2022. I've signed up for that. So that'll be like my first book signing.
Awesome. You should make loads of new contacts there as well. They'd be fun.
Yeah.
If you're able to travel to any period of time, either forwards or backwards, where would you like to go?
That's a tough one. Maybe backwards for a little do-over. But forward just to, you know, enjoy retirement and our golden years, pretty much, you know.
If you're able to travel to anywhere in the world, where would you travel to?
Nantucket. That's the only place on my bucket list. Nantucket and Italy, pretty much are the two places I'd love to.
Yeah, Italy's on my list as well. I've never been either.
Yeah, it's actually featured in The Only Man too. We go to Italy. They go to Italy. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, a bit closer for me though, and I've still never been.
Yeah, a bit closer for you. Yep.
Although I have been to Florida, weirdly. So
yeah,
yeah, done the whole thing. I loved it. I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. We are blessed. It's a beautiful state.
Yeah, it's so different to England. Cleaner, obviously warmer, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm originally from Virginia, so I'm enjoying the warm weather. I've only been down here about 7 years now.
Yeah, I mean, we're quite lucky actually, the sun's shining here today, but it wasn't when I woke up this morning. It's absolutely chucking it down.
Oh no. It's cold up there.
Yeah, it's coming to winter now, so
Ah.
yeah, it's still rubbish. Not a fan. I'd rather have the sun any day.
Yeah.
Keep getting distracted. I'll ask you. If you're able to spend a day with any author, dead or alive, who would you like to spend a day with?
Ellen Hildebrandt. She's my favorite.
And at any author events, who would you fangirl over most if you were to meet them in real life, apart from her, obviously?
What would I hope to find out?
Who would you fangirl over most? Who would you get most sort of shy and stuff over?
Um, Probably her or Chris and Hannah. I mean, they all just James or Nicholas Sparks. I'd love to meet him. He's very talented.
Cool. Do you have any fears or phobias, and would you write about them?
I have a fear of talking in a big audience. I don't like that. Not real fond of heights. Other than that, that's about it. That's my only fear or phobia is, and my family health history. That never helps either. You always, the older you get, the more you think about that too, trying to be healthy.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
If you were to be stranded on a desert island, what 3 things would you want with you?
Pen and paper, my phone. Gosh. Unless they have food on that island, I want food too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to kill stuff, I don't think.
No, I didn't think I'd have to eat off of the plants or something. Become a vegetarian then or something, either coconuts or whatever they have over there, berries.
Yeah, I couldn't even kill a fish, I don't think. I don't like fish anyway, so it would be pointless.
I'd be able to kill the fish.
But what do you like to do in your free time?
Go to the beach, hang out with Eric, ride a beach comb while he's riding his bike around the neighborhood. We have friends come over often and we go to their house that are on our street. And I mean, usually Saturday mornings, 2 to 4 girls will come over and we'll have mimosas. And that's a lot of fun, just an hour or 2 of girl time. Last Saturday we had sangrias though, and they were quite potent. I was like, oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do you get much chance to read?
I do. I average probably on average 3 to 4 books a week. Yeah, love reading.
And what sort of stuff do you read?
Most of the time it's romance, beach reads. Now I did read Wilford Lee Jones has one coming out, which is horror. And I'm not a horror fan, but I tell you what, this book was amazing because it crossed so many genres. I mean, there was romance, there was horror. I was thrilled that I got to read it. So.
Yeah, have you read We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker? He's a British author, but he set his book in America.
Oh, I'll have to write that down.
It's won quite a lot of British awards.
Nice. Yeah. I'll have to look that up.
It's awesome. And what's the last book that made you cry?
Yeah.
Do you get emotional when you read?
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm right, especially with a obviously a good author. I feel like I'm right there in it. I feel the heartaches, the pain, the laughs, and everything.
Yeah. Now you're an author. Do you get asked to read a lot of your friends' books?
Not so much. No, I mean I'm on a few art teams, and which I love doing. They're great. They're fun. But no, I mean, you'll have random direct messages with their book links and or other craziness. So, so it's just like, if I don't ever direct message someone with my book, I advertise them obviously on social media and it's all over the place. So if you want to read it, you can. If you don't, what's a direct message going to, how's that going to change anything? So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I find once people start writing, then they suddenly get asked to advance read a lot of other people's books. So that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'm on art teams as well. I love it.
yeah,
Although that's all I read generally is arcs or beaters.
right.
I very rarely read anything else because I have so many.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I don't mind. So you said you've got a book out in October and one in November. Do you know what you're doing after that?
I do. I'm actually working on it now, and it's called Blown Away. And it's a little bit of romance. It's more of the 20-something group. And it's actually based in, all of my books are actually based in Florida, in different Florida towns on the Gulf side. So it's kind of unique in that respect.
Awesome. And then are you someone that has loads of ideas waiting to be written, or does something occur to you and then you just go with it?
Now I actually have like 8 books with the titles and the thought of, what they are. So I do have, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you unless you think there's anything I haven't asked you that you want to tell us about.
I don't, and I appreciate you having me here. It was great to meet you, and maybe one day we'll meet.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, maybe when you're in Florida, or maybe I'll come to the UK.
Yeah, that would be awesome too. We'd love to meet you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. You have a good evening.
Yeah, no problem. Before we go, would you just like to remind everyone where they can get your books and where they can find out more about you if they wish?
Sure. Casey Poitras on Amazon. If you just Google Casey Poitras, it comes right up. I'm on Facebook, also under Casey Poitras, and Instagram, author Casey Poitras. But yeah, I have a website. But if you just type in Casey Poitras, usually in the Google feeds, they come up. My first book was actually nominated for the Author Elite Award of the Year. Didn't make the top 10, but that's okay. It was an honor to be nominated. But so there's a lot of, yeah, you can, if I Google just the Casey Poitras, then it comes up pretty easy.
Fabulous. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.